Welcome back. When you begin to look into and understand the complexity of issues involved with elder care, you see a number of amazing and talented people with expertise to help us navigate these difficult times. Suzanne Blankenship is known as the Eldercare Navigator. She's an elder care expert, a public speaker, an employee productivity trainer, and author of the book, How to Care for Old People Without Losing Your Marbles. Her blog is a collection of how-to tips, tools, and information on the full spectrum of elder care, from identifying when elders first need care to the end-of-life decisions. Suzanne, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Glad to be here, Dr. Gene.
I love the title of your book. When faced with elder care issues for the first time, people do seem to lose their marbles. Can you define for me this issue in a nutshell?
Well, the issue in a nutshell is that none of us plan to be a family caregiver. We never think about it. It lands in our lap, kind of like an elephant. It's big, it's heavy, and it's really hard to move. So the thing about elder care is that our elders need our help, but nobody ever thinks about it before that emergency or diagnosis. And these are people you love, these are people you care about, but it is really stressful, hence the losing your marbles.
So how can people properly plan for this?
Well, planning is really the key. And I know that's not really something most people want to think about or do think about, but planning really is the key. And you need to have a conversation when your elders and your parents are still fine before that emergency happens. You need to have a plan, and you need at least an outline of a plan. You need to talk about things like, where do they want to live as they age? Who do they want to care for them should they need care? What's their financial situation? What does their budget allow? And how can you begin now to get involved with them in a non-threatening way, so that you can make their wishes and preferences come to fruition should something happen. So this is the holidays, and I always tell everybody, just sit down and talk to your family. Get a piece of pie and sit down and talk. This year it may be a Zoom meeting, but it's important to have that conversation.
I know from experience one of the hardest issues people face is having to move their elderly parent to a facility outside of the home. How can you help us with this?
Well, that's a really tough one, Dr. Jean. It's so hard to decide whether to do aging in place or moving to a care community. It's just a really hard decision. One of the things that most people don't recognize as being a huge factor when they are evaluating this choice is isolation. When people are at home and they're no longer driving, or they are no longer socializing actively, isolation is a big factor. It's a factor in their mental capabilities, and also their physical capabilities and their safety. And so when it's time to move them, I actually have a blog called the 5 Cent Selection that really helps you identify the right fit for your elder. But anything over about 8 hours of care, really more cost effectively to be in a care community.
Now, you spend a lot of time with productivity issues. That's something I never really thought about. Can you give us a little idea about what this is?
Absolutely. I'm a caregiver for my family, and I have been for almost 2 decades. And the thing that helps me with that feeling of stress and overwhelm is being organized. And it's not really something that anybody thinks about relative to elder care, but it is a tool that helps you be a better advocate. It helps you be there for your parents in a care mode rather than a panic mode. It helps you with that inevitable elder emergency, stay ahead of it. And it just has a better outcome for all if you're organized. And I talk about that throughout my book.
Yeah, I would imagine that's one of the hardest things. I mean, planning for this is so difficult for all of us because the conversations aren't easy. But then when you think of it, and when I started thinking about things that I read from what you said regarding productivity, it does take a lot of time, and it's consuming for the caregivers who aren't used to this. I really want to thank you for your time with us here and for this important work that you do in this area. We're going to feature your book, but where can our viewers go to learn more about you and the help you provide.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Jean. You can go to theeldercarenavigator.com. Again, theeldercarenavigator.com. And on my website are my blogs on a variety of topics. You can sign up to receive my blog. You can find out about any upcoming events that I have. You can order a signed copy of my book. I also have some things I call the Navigator Notes, and they're fillable PDF forms that allow people to quickly be productive and organized. And so obviously I'm on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Go to your local library and ask for my book. They may have it or they can order it.
Well,
Most local booksellers as well.
Thank you so much. This is such great information, and I hope many people see this and take it to heart. Thank you.
Thank you for covering this topic.
Thank you.